So there is a huge update right now with Lumix, and we now have ARRI LOG C3 internal on full frame Lumix cameras. And to be more specific, it's the LUMIX S1R Mark II, the LUMIX S1II, and honestly, a personal favorite of mine, the LUMIX S1II, which is pretty amazing that we're getting for $2,500 a full frame camera capable of ARRI LOG C3. But here's the real question. Is it even worth it? Because you actually have to pay for this upgrade. Well, thankfully, Lumix did supply me with an early version of ARRI LOG C3, so I can actually test it out for you guys. And I thought what I would do is, in just a bunch of different modes, go ahead and film a couple different scenes in Vlog and then the same scene in ARRI LOG C3 so that you guys can see the side-by-side difference between them if there's a difference at all. And additionally, just to kind of help you guys out with making the decision, I'll probably include a couple of files that you can download. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And if you actually download and use the footage and you like it, maybe just leave me a like. I really would appreciate it. And to kind of tell you guys my methodology here, I'm going to go ahead and film in some of the highest quality settings that you can do. So that's going to be ProRes 422 HQ, again, in Vlog and in ARRI LOG C3. I'm going to be using the Maglock Polar Pro filters, just so you guys know what filters we're using. And I'm going to use a personal favorite lens of mine. That's the 35mm 1.8 Lumix lens. We're going to do a high dynamic range test. We'll do a skin tone test, and then we're going to kind of just go from there and see what happens. Because honestly, I don't know. So now let's do something a little bit different. I want you guys to tell me which color profile you think we're in. Do you think we're in Vlog or do you think we're in ARRI LOG? And while you're in the comments typing away which one you think it is, let me go ahead and tell you guys about today's sponsor, Artlist, which I've been using for years for all of their music and sound effects. But to be honest, their service just keeps getting better and better with frequent updates, and it's pretty amazing. The latest thing that they've added in is this new AI voice-to-voice feature. Now, if you've ever used an AI voiceover, you know that it sounds really robotic, almost like a robot giving a TED Talk.
Hi, I am an AI voice, and this is my T-Doc.
Well, now with Artlist, you can upload audio of yourself delivering the line,
add in all the inflections and pauses that you need for the AI VO,
and it will go ahead and match whatever voice you choose
to your own audio, making it much more personalized for whatever your project is.
And to be completely honest with you guys, if you go ahead and sign up for Artlist, it directly supports me and this channel, and I really do appreciate it. Plus, I really do think it's a win-win because Artlist's catalog of different features from audio, stock footage, and now with this AI voiceover feature, I really do think it's probably one of the most useful creative tools on the market. There'll be a link in the description if you want to try it out for yourself. And by the way, we're recording on Vlog for all you who were curious. Let's get back to it. Okay guys, so for this test, I want to utilize the camera how I always use it. And for me, I'm always shooting in 6K open gate, which is actually a 420 codec instead of 422. So we're gonna go ahead and see how that plays in effect when you're shooting in Vlog versus ARRI LOG. And also for this, I wanna focus a little bit more on skin tones. So I actually have Armando standing in here as a model today. He has a nice middle tone, which will hopefully provide probably a pretty good idea for how ARRI LOG and Vlog in these cameras handles skin tones overall. This is Vlog and dynamic range boost on the S1II. We're in much more nice neutral lighting right now. Hey Theo, come here. Look at me. Theo does not care one bit about me right now. He just wants to smell all of the dirt around me, don't you? We are actually in Arizona in the Aspen Forest, which should be pretty cool for more tests. So again, you're looking at a V-Log, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to ARRI LOG C3. We've switched over into ARRI LOG C3, which by the way, it does change the actual light, I guess. I don't know. It basically switches your base ISO is what I'm trying to say, from 1000 when you're shooting in dynamic range boost to 800. So it just goes down one click. If you're shooting on the S1II, that means your base ISO would go from 400 to 320 ISO. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you're going to be using ARRI LOG C3, your base ISOs will shift around a little bit, but how does this look? Does this look better? Does it look the same? To me, ARRI LOG seems to be more contrasty, or maybe it's just a less, it's just like a less flat log than V-Log. I really enjoy V-Log, so I'm not entirely sure how much I need ARRI LOG C3, but that's kind of what this test is for. So let's actually take a break from just showing off footage, although you're looking at ARRI LOG right now again, and talk about what exactly Lumix supposedly did by adding an ARRI LOG. Because I think a lot of people thought with the GH7 and now with these full frame cameras that it's kind of just a color space transform, almost like what we would do in DaVinci Resolve on a V-Log codec. And from what I'm told, that's not true. This is actually engineered by ARRI and then put into these Lumix cameras. So this is some sort of a partnership between these two companies, and it's pretty cool that they chose Lumix. I guess they wouldn't have chose Sony because that is a pretty big competitor, especially in the cinema space, with things like the Burano and the Venice. And I think what this is trying to accomplish for ARRI, and the reason why this is happening at all, is they want a ladder system to go from a much more budget camera like the S1II to then the R2, and then eventually to an ARRI camera. But I think they're gonna need to fill that gap in between a little bit more, but this is just kind of the start. But as far as I understand it, this actually changes your IRE for skin tones. I think it goes from 41 to 39 IRE when you go to ARRI LOG. I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I don't really know how much of a difference this makes, if it's even worth it, because honestly, I just really enjoy V-Log. So I'm curious what you guys think after seeing all of this footage. But there is one other thing that I need to do for you guys, and that's going to be a low light test between these two logs. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut to when it's actually darker out, and we'll see how these two logs compare. So honestly, after looking at everything, whether or not the ARRI LOG C3 update is worth it is probably going to depend on your personal workflow. If the ARRI LOG colors and the color fidelity that you get out of the image is something that you're interested in, or if you want to have access to their large look library, a ton of people have made really interesting LUTs for ARRI LOG C3, then potentially it's totally worth it. However, if you're already a fan of V-Log and its super clean look, especially clean in the shadows, then maybe it's not. I think, again, it's going to depend on how you need this camera to work for whatever you're filming. Either way, I really do think that this is an incredible update to these Lumix cameras, which were already super powerful and versatile. Now, again, I really want to emphasize that this is not a review. This was simply to provide footage for you guys so that you can determine for yourself if it's worth it. And as a reminder, I do have a link in the description so that you can download some of these files and play with them for yourself and kind of see how each of them work in the different NLEs that you guys are using. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you did, I genuinely would appreciate a like, a subscription, and maybe even share it to someone who might be interested in this update on their Lumix camera. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and I will see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.